Steve Stricker, 1 under 70 today, even par and tied for 6th. How would you assess where you're standing going into the weekend?
Yeah, at the start of the day, I was like, let's just get back to even par for the tournament. It's a little disappointing. I bogeyed, I guess, number 6 and 9 to finish, but they're tough holes. Didn't drive it in the fairway on either one of those holes, so from that point, it makes it pretty difficult. So, but I'm right in there. The scores aren't going anywhere. It's very challenging. It's very tough. And if you don't hit the fairway, you're scrambling. So it's I'm in a good spot. It looks like 3 back for sure. So like I said, there's some tough pins out there today. The wind is up and down. Course has got a lot of teeth to it. So I feel okay where I'm at.
Great. We're going to open up for questions on your left here.
Steve, you certainly know what USGA championships are all about, but how tough is it, week to week, making 20, 25 birdies on the Champions Tour, and then you have to adjust your mindset to a completely different kind of golf here?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is a different mindset, but it's one that we've played and you're used to. You revert back to that mentality pretty quick, knowing that you have to get it in the fairway on the tee at all costs, and if you don't, then you become in scramble mode, and how best can you get a 10-footer for par, look at it on the green. So again, it's different, but yet we've played so many of these through the course of our career, and this is the way I remember US Opens when I first got on tour. This type of difficultness. So it's a legitimate test this week.
On your right.
Steve, you skirted disaster on 9 yesterday, but today obviously a little bit different. When they move the tee back, assuming they do on the weekend, how will that hole play differently? And then is that hole in the right place for the weekend as opposed to, maybe at the back end of the golf course? Could you imagine that hole settling this championship?
No, it's a little bit of a quirky hole. I was looking at, I don't even know if you could play it as a par 5, there's just nowhere to drive it if it was a par 5, and it plays into the wind. I think, where we've played it the first couple days, it's guys in my group have been hitting 3 woods. Driver can kind of get into the next part of the creek. So if they move the tee back, it's going to be a driver for sure, and it'll play. You'll probably have a 6 or 7 iron in there, probably. But yeah, it's a tough hole. There's not a lot of space to hit it off the tee, and it's one that if you make a 4, you're ahead of the game.
You're going to stay on your right.
Steve, along with the LA Country Club comment, Padraig also said he thought this course allows for some chasing a little bit, like being a few shots behind is not the end of things. Do you look at that now on a Saturday? Or is it still just about a number you've got in your own head, and you're not really looking at, chasing Bernard or Rod or something like that?
No, you're I'm paying attention to who's up there on top and where the lead is at. Obviously, I wanted to get more under par than what I was at there coming in, but. Yeah, it's just about patience too, and we're only halfway through, and a lot can happen still. And Padraig's right. You can get it going here. I had it 3 under for the day, and in the middle of the fairway at number 4 with a sand wedge in my hand and a par 5 coming up next, and I don't make 2 birdies there, or I should have probably made 1, So it's out there. If you play well, you get it in the fairway. It's definitely. You can definitely shoot a good, I'm saying 4 or 5 under round, would be a hell of a round. So it's tough.
On your left here.
Steve, you had that near miss on that chip in and another birdie putt that just skated right by. Is it encouraging when you have shots that close because you're hitting it right and eventually they'll fall, or how does that kind of work in your mind?
Yeah, it's you know, the near chip in at number 7, I guess, you know, I'm disappointed that it didn't go in, but yet at the end of the day, it was a good 3. So I walk off there feeling a little bit both ways, you know, but you just can't get too high or too down on yourself here. You know, I mean, any U.S. Open, you can't do that. And you can't think that you got the course licked, you know, like yesterday. I make the turn 2 under and I'm going to the back 9 and, you know, I've got some birdie holes to start with and all of a sudden, bang, I'm 2 over, you know. So it can jump up and get you really quick, and you have to pay attention, and it's a challenge.
We're going to take 2 more. Here, stay on your left.
Did Nikki have to calm me down a little bit on those last few holes, or did she more or less stay out of your way because you were a little ticked off on 9?
Well, you know, it's just, I know how important it is to drive it in the fairway there, and I just didn't put a good swing on a 3-wood, and I tried to send it down the right and turn it over, and I started in the middle and turned it over, and that rough on the left is the worst on the course, and I know it is, and I mean, my ball was straight down there. I had all I could do to hit a sand wedge 40 or 50 yards. So it's, yeah, wanted to make a par and get under par, you know, kind of thing. And but again, it's, you know, I'm right there, and I'm going to have a couple good rounds this weekend, but I'm right in there.
All right, last one on your right.
Steve, on number 5, it looked like there was some deliberation between going for it and then laying up to where you did. Talk us through that. What ultimately did laying up win? How did that win out?
Yeah, laid up kind of in a wrong spot. I thought I was going to be far enough back, but I got a better look what I need to do there if I'm going to lay up. I had a number I could go for it with. I think I had 215 or 218 to the front. But that was a 3-iron that I would have had to hit. And then the tree is there. You know, I didn't know if I could hit it high enough to get it up over the tree. Then I surely wasn't going to be able to stop it. So it was going to go in a back bunker somewhere. So that's why I decided to lay up. And I can't believe that my wedge over the tree stopped so fast, really. I thought, you know, anything would just skate down there to the hole. And it left me with a putt that super defensive, you know, had a lot of break to it, and that was the case today on a lot of holes where the pin placements were in some challenging spots, you know, right on the crowns. If you're on the wrong side, you're, you know, really defensive, and it was hard to have a putt where you could be really aggressive with, but that's a tough hole. I mean, you got to first get in the fairway, and then it provides all these questions in your mind what you should really do. So it's a good risk-reward hole.
All right, thanks for your time,
All right, thanks,
Steve.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.